Welcome to Inside SAU Athletics. I'm Nick Cepeda.
And I'm Marissa Peterson. On this week's episode, we'll be featuring our SAU swimming and diving teams.
After claiming liberal arts championships, both the men's and women's swimming and diving teams finished out an exciting season this past weekend at the NAIA Championships in Columbus, Georgia. The women's team placing 11th overall and the men placing 6th. Individually, the Fighting Bees recorded multiple personal best times, including 7 school records. Both the men's and women's teams had multiple All-Americans, including sophomore Mickey Hassan, who had a personal best time in the 200-yard individual medley, placing 6th overall. He also placed 8th overall in the 100 butterfly. Newcomer Jonas Frias swam personal best times in all 10 of his events, including the 500 and the 1,500-yard freestyle. Junior Bram Mess earned All-American honors in 2 events for the second year in a row, and to top it all off, all 4 of the men's relays teams placed in top 10 to claim All-American status. On the women's team, junior Leire Antanaza swam a season personal best in the 200-yard individual medley, placing 7th overall. That earned her All-American honors for the 3rd straight year. Antanaza's also placed in the top 10 for the 400-yard individual medley event. Sophomore Bridget O'Grady earned All-American honors with personal best times in the 100 and 200-yard breaststroke events, placing in the top 10 in both. You can find a full list of results from the Nationals right now at saubees.com.
Joining us now is junior Mickey Hassan. Thanks for being with us here today, Nikki.
Thank you for having me.
So you just ended the season with not 1 but 2 individual All-American titles over the weekend. What type of emotions were running through your head coming into Nationals, and how did you deal with them?
Well, when coming to Nationals, I was a little bit nervous, obviously, as competition gets. However, I was actually really confident. We had a great season before. We prepared really well, we tapered really well. So going into the competition, I felt really prepared, really ready. So even though I was a little bit nervous, I felt pretty confident in what I was going to do. So,
you also swam in all 4 of the relay events at Nationals, placing top 10 in all of them. What do you think were some of the key factors that contributed to you and your teammates performing so well in these relay races?
I think it's mainly just being confident with each other and also just hyping each other up to an extent, At the end of the day, relays is like a team. It's a teamwork. So before the race, behind the blocks, we're getting each other excited, getting each other ready to race, making sure that we know that we're going to do our best, just get in there. So, yeah, I think it's just lots of teamwork, lots of communication. I think that's what mainly helps it out.
As you're coming off of your best season yet, what drives you to continue pushing yourself to the next level as an athlete?
For me, even though I've accomplished so much and I'm very thankful for it, I'm always never satisfied. I always want to get better, improve, fix things. And I think that's one thing that just keeps me driven, keeps me confident and keeps me going towards new goals, new things,
This past week, you were also named an NAIA Swim and Dive Scholar Athlete for the 2nd year in a row. How do you balance being a member of the swim team in addition to being a full-time student?
Well, to me, it's just mainly separating things up, breaking up small tasks as well. But I also use lots of resources around campus. I make sure to use the Student Success Center when I can in order to help me balance my schedule as well as just help me with classes when I do have to miss for certain events or swimming meets. So I think that's mainly the main thing, just helping and using resource campuses to help me get through it.
Thanks again for being here, Mickey. Coming up next on Inside SAU Athletics, Nick will be sitting down with sophomore Bryn Kiley. We'll be right back.
In less than 5 years, Lisa Bluter has become the all-time winningest women's basketball coach at St. Ambrose with 130 career wins against 34 defeats. She has been named the District 15 Coach of the Year the past 2 years. Bluter's Queen Bees have won 3 consecutive district titles and have made 2 straight appearances in the NAIA National Tournament. But success hasn't spoiled Bluter. She would prefer that her players get the publicity.
I don't care how good a coach you are, if you don't have good athletes, you're not going to win. It's nice, that people recognize your accomplishments, but, any recognition I get, they deserve much more than I do.
She hopes to be a Division I coach someday, but for right now, Lisa Bluter is content being a busy bee. Steve Tappa, TV 11 Dateline.
Joining us now is sophomore Bryn Kiley. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So Bryn, you've had an amazing season with ending off the year with breaking a school record of the 200-yard freestyle. What are some of the goals going into the season?
Some of the goals going into the season were just bettering my times from last year, and not necessarily the school record wasn't one of my goals this year, but I just wanted to come in and improve from what I had done last year.
Awesome. How do you feel the team has grown together this season?
I feel like we've grown together just by practicing every morning and afternoon together for 6 months. You're with each other a lot, so motivating each other every day to not just show up to practice, but also put your best foot forward when you're in the pool or in the weight room.
Perfect. How do you feel you yourself have grown this season as an athlete?
I think mentally I've become a better athlete, along with physically, just putting in more work in practice and in the weight room to better my times throughout the season.
Yeah. And finally, what is your motivation heading into the next season?
Kind of the same as going into this season, just looking to better improve my times again, along with looking at some of my technique and changing a few things, which will, in the end, result in hopefully going faster next year.
Right. Again, congratulations. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Coming up next, Marissa will sit down with head swimming and diving coach Rob Mikowski. We'll be right back.
Ready the studio in 3, 2.
Welcome to this edition of SAU Weekly, your source for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. The Mississippi River crested on Monday at a near record high.
This is What's the Buzz with Abby Varcala. Staff members put many hours of work into planning the spring commencement ceremony.
But for Coach Bluter, her coaching career started right here.
Welcome to this edition of Inside SAU Athletics.
On today's episode, we're featuring the men's basketball team.
We're featuring the men's and women's track and field teams.
We're catching up with the men's lacrosse team. Thanks for watching.
Joining us now is Rob Mikowski, better known as Coach Ski, the head coach of the swimming and diving here at SAU. Thanks for being here, Coach.
You're more than welcome. Glad to be here.
Coach, you just finished up with an amazing season with multiple accomplishments. What has the season meant for you?
Well, I've been doing this a long time, so every year I look at it as a challenge and to try to improve. And the 8 years that I've been here, every year we've gotten better, and this was the best performance we've had out of a team yet. So,
what do you feel were the biggest strengths for your teams throughout the season?
I think just the athletes that we have, their tendency to just to focus on what the task is at hand, not only in the pool but also in the classroom. That's kind of something as coaches we stress with them, that it's not just about what you do in the pool, but also what you do in the classroom and in the community. So we've got just such a wonderful group of kids that I couldn't ask for better.
So what motivates you throughout the season?
For me, it's probably the hardest part of coaching swimming is you don't get a lot of instant gratification. You literally work for 6 months for a half-second time drop. And as a coach, seeing that across the board for your athletes to do the time drops that they're wanting to get, there are a lot of disappointments as well because, illnesses, injuries, all kinds of situations come up. But what motivates me is just striving for that national meet and trying to improve there. That's what keeps us going.
And finally, what are you most excited about going into next season?
We got almost everybody back. This was the best performance we did at the national level. We had 7 All-Americans in 10 events. We had 11 team records at the national meet, which is incredibly hard to do. And coming off men's and women's conference title champions, just knowing that whole group of individuals, with a couple of exceptions, are coming back, and that we've got a pretty good recruiting class coming in. That's real excitement. That's what we're looking forward to.
Well, thank you so much again for being here with us today, and congratulations on an amazing season.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Nick.
Both the men's and women's swimming and diving programs look to remain strong again next season. They return multiple top swimmers, including several All-Americans. That's all we have for you on this edition of Inside SAU Athletics. Remember to check out the SAU TV Facebook and Instagram pages for our latest episodes, game highlights, interviews, and more. You can also find them on the Hive at sauthebuzz.com. Thanks for watching.